Let's just give it a moment of silence for the beauty that is this palette. Hello everyone, today is going to be a fun day. I've been looking forward to this video for a long time. It's been kind of in the back of my mind that I wanted to share this with you guys. As makeup lovers, there are many things that we see that we may want initially, and many times we then forget about those things and move on to the next thing. But then there are those items that never really leave. They stay in our mental backlog of things that we know exist, that we would love to possess, but for some reason we have talked ourselves out of actually buying them. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 of those things that I find so beautiful, that in fact many other people possess, and every time they share them on their videos or on the Instagram, I'm always over here doing the pulsing heart eye, like the Korean thing, just you know, but I still have not bought them and I don't think I will. So I will share that with you today. There, I tried to scooch over so there's enough room over here to place a picture of said items as we talk about them. So I'm going to start with the OG for me, which is the one that every time I see it, I think, oh yes, it's so pretty. But there are very specific reasons why I will not let myself get it. I'll put it up here. It is the Melt Gemini palette. Do you guys not agree? Look at the beauteousness. I've got a picture of it down here so I can talk about it while you guys do. While you guys look at the picture. Look at that gorgeous mustard yellow and that beautiful metallic green. I think it's called Goals. And then on the other side, the one called Gemini, that's like a beautiful like rose goldy. Well, it looks rose goldy in the picture. Even the packaging with the roses. You know, we're not supposed to be swayed by packaging, but let's be real, we totally are. Every single time someone pulls out this palette, my heart does a little pitter-patter, and I rejoice for the person I'm watching that they have this palette. It is just so pretty. My reasons for not buying it. There are many, actually. So this palette has had some problems with stability. There have been some people who have experienced like mold issues with theirs, and Melt has been really good about either replacing their palette or giving them a gift card or something. I think the majority of people haven't had issues, but a few people have, and they've shared that, so that's a problem. There's also the problem that this is $58, which for many people, I know it's worth it. An eyeshadow palette is something that can last you for years. But I'm not really at that point yet where I'm okay allowing myself to spend $58 on an eyeshadow palette. You know what I mean? There's also the fact that I haven't bought it yet, but there's a palette that I want to buy from Kaleidos Cosmetics that has kind of these greeny tones. And I saw Kat from Kish Snitch compare them, and they weren't as comparable as some people think. But I know that for me, I would be fine. Like I don't need the exact pigmentation that these ones from Melt have. So knowing that I'm going to be buying that Kaleidos palette, the green one, has really helped me in not pining too much over this palette. But literally, I feel like most YouTubers I watch have this and they all love it. Although that comes from the reason why I'm not really excited about Melt as a brand. Many people love the color story, but they aren't huge fans of the formula. So they forgive the formula because they love the color so much and how highly pigmented they are, but they do say it's not their favorite blendable formula. So that kind of holds me back as well. If you guys have this palette, oh, congratulations. It's just so pretty. It's probably the one that I've been thinking about for the longest that I would love to have. All right, the next palette that I will not allow myself to purchase, but every time I see it, I do a little mental swoon, is the Enduring Love palette from Sydney Grace. Now, this one has not been out as long, and Sydney Grace is a brand that I would like to purchase singles from at some point in the future. But look at this palette. It has beautiful cool tones, which I'm so into lately. Like, I would love to get all the cool tones. But this is another one where the packaging and even like the names of the shades have sucked me in. Look at you guys. There's a Darcy and Elizabeth. But basically, Darcy and Elizabeth, I instantly was sold and I wanted this in my life. But you know what? This palette is $52. It's along the same lines as Melt in price. Although I do think the Sydney Grace shadows get better reviews for their formula than the Melt ones do. But just look at those gorgeous, gorgeous cool tones. The swatches of this look so beautiful. The packaging too. It just calls to my little soul. I love it. I know I would love this palette. But I'm holding off because I know I can get my favorite shades, or at least close to them, just from buying singles from them in the future. I know I won't use all those shades if I bought the palette. Like, I probably wouldn't use very much that shade that Elizabeth is, or the one that is Ruth, or Abigail, to be honest. So I'm trying not to buy palettes that I know where there's several shades that I just wouldn't use. But you guys, look at this palette. Let's give it a moment of silence for the beauty that is this palette. Now we're going to move on to two palettes actually from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. The very first one I want to talk about is the Vintage Rose palette. They sucked me in with just the name. Like, same along with the Enduring Love palette. It has kind of the same vibes. Like, look at those, the beautiful, the green and the pink. And I'm really drawn to like the pink and the greens. Like, and look at those greens. Like, I didn't realize like what I was wearing, it went really well with like that Melt palette and this Vintage Rose palette either. I obviously am drawn to those type of greens. This palette is $34. And just looking at it, I know that I have pinks like this in my collection. I don't need to buy more. And even though I don't have those greens yet, I will be buying that Kaleidos palette sometime in my future. Like, I keep telling myself that. So I don't need this palette, but even look at the packaging. It's just so pretty. And the names of the shades: Thorn, Aged Rose Stem, Blossom, Bouquet, Velvet Petals. Like, it's just, I feel like sometimes that makeup can be an experience in of itself with just the packaging and the name of the shades and the way the color scheme is. It's, you know what I mean? Kind of same way with tea or food in general. The way it's presented to you is part of the experience. I have to give Me Glow props for this palette. All I'd had to see was like when it was first coming out was the sneak peek, and I knew that I was going to want this one. And every time someone pulls it out in a video, I go, oh, yes. The second palette from Give Me Glow that I just, oh, I can hardly restrain myself is this one called the Juicy Olive palette. I have seen a few people use it. They all say it's really good quality. This is a $30 palette. And once again, the only reason I have been able to hold myself back is because I know that at some point in my future I'm going to be buying that Kaleidos palette. Once again, it's a palette that matches my outfit today. And you guys, you just have to admit that this is so pretty. I don't know why I am so drawn to these mustardy, kind of pukey greens and yellows, and then those really super bright olive green shimmers. It speaks to my heart, and I don't know why, but this is one that has been on my radar for months and months, and it's just so beautiful. So beautiful. And if I'm gonna be honest, if I found this on a great deal somewhere, honestly, any of these palettes, if I found them on a great deal somewhere, I might succumb to temptation. But as it stands, I can allow it to be beautiful and to live without me owning it, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the fun thing about makeup. You don't have to own everything to appreciate its beauty. And this is another palette that whenever someone pulls it out, I just rejoice for them. I'm like, oh, you have that palette. I'm so happy for you. Please love it just for me. Okay, I'm not sure where I was. My husband came out, so I'm just gonna start over. The next palette that I want to talk to you guys about is the Tati Textured Neutrals palette. This palette, just like most people when it came out, I was very interested to see what Tati, you know, what she brought out. She has a lot to say about eyeshadow palettes. She reviews a ton of them, so I expected her to have a really good formula. And honestly, the people that got this palette, I've heard mostly, in fact, I've heard good reviews. I'm sure there are people out there that didn't like it, but I've heard good reviews. But let's just talk about the reasons why I've been able to talk myself out of this palette. The number one reason, of course, is that top row of glitters. I wouldn't have very many occasions to wear it, and I don't actually feel comfortable with glitter near my eyeball. Like, I realize that it really, like, when I see other people wearing them, it is absolutely a stunning, stunning effect, but I'm just not comfortable putting plastic glitters on my eyelids so close to my eye. Also, she called this the Neutrals palette. I don't think this is neutral. It's got a row of bright orange and a row of bright, like, pink. And if it didn't have the row of bright orange, and then you took out the glitters, I would have been much more tempted by this. I think the Aura, how do you guys pronounce that? Aura? Yeah, Aura. I think the Aura row is so pretty. I've heard a lot of people say really good things about the matte black in this. Although, I don't know why I'm interested in a matte black, because I don't wear a lot of black eyeshadow. I mostly just use it for liner, but I know people were super impressed with it. And also with the Poet row, people were just like dying over that row. But, you know, this is another one of those palettes that I can appreciate from a distance. I don't have to own it. If in the future she comes out with a palette that perhaps is more condensed, that doesn't have as many shades, or sorry, that doesn't have the glitter row in it and is actually neutral, I would be very tempted, because I've heard really good things about the formula. Also, this one's a bit expensive for me. It's $48, although you are getting a lot of shades. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me as we just oohed and awed over beautiful, beautiful palettes. Definitely let me know, for you, what palettes are the ones that you long for and look lovingly at every time someone pulls out of their stash, but you've been able to hold yourself back and just appreciate it in someone else's stash. Let me know what it is, what palette is it for you that makes your heart go pitter-patter like that. And also, if you're wondering, yes, I do usually do my eyeshadow roulette on this day. I do that every 2 weeks. However, I knew I would not be able to film this, so or film that video, so I pre-filmed this one to go up on that day. But we can talk about that next time I actually do my eyeshadow roulette. So the eyeshadows in my roulette are going to be in there for at least an extra week. But there are so many palettes that I love that I managed not to buy that I think I could probably make this into a series. And which I kind of want to do, actually. It's very, I think, cathartic to talk about these things that we love at first sight and continue to love, but managed to not splurge and spend the money on. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for this video. I really enjoyed it. It was super fun just to sit back and talk about these beautiful shadows. I hope you all stay warm and healthy where you are. I mean, I should post a video of what it looks like outside right now. It is snowing. It's very beautiful, but you know, it's March, what is it, March 15th? Yeah, March 15th, and it's snowing. Oh, anyway. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!